What is up, Ravens Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Vlog Talk. We got another packed video for you breaking down all the big stories from the Baltimore Ravens. Starting with more roster updates. The Ravens have, at the time of this recording, they have 15 of their 16 practice squad spots filled. And those include Anthony Brown, Tykeem Doss, Jeremy Lucen, Tayshawn Manning, Ben Mason, Jeremiah Moon, Rashad Nichols, Josh Ross, Sean Ryan, Travis Vokalek, Owen Wright, Daryl Worley, Sam Mustipher, and Melvin Gordon. So they still have one spot to fill. Not sure who that's going to be just yet. As you noticed, or probably noticed, Kevin Seymour, Josh Johnson, and Brent Urban were not on that list. It is being reported that there's a good chance they will be brought onto the 53-man roster once some current players that are on the 53-man roster get moved to IR here in the next, couple days or however long. So a few things that caught my attention about that. Of course, Anthony Brown back in there. It's a guy that, John Harbaugh described as a developmental guy at the end of the third preseason game. There are some things about Anthony Brown I really like. I think he's has some potential. He's not a starting caliber guy, at least at this point in his career, but I'm glad they brought him back on the practice squad. If need be, they have him. He's definitely not all bad. I do like a lot of what he showed in the preseason. Also, Travis Vokalek. I said in yesterday's video that it's a shame that the Ravens, not a shame that they have such a good tight end room, but it's a shame that he couldn't make or crack the 53-man roster, because he did look really good from what we saw in the preseason. But it looks like the Ravens are not ready to let him go. They brought him back to the practice squad, which I'm glad. All it takes is an injury or two. God forbid that happens this season, but all it takes is an injury or two, and you can bring a guy like him to come up and hopefully, give you some quality reps there in an actual game. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, but I'm glad they brought him back because I really, really like what he showed in the preseason. Also, Melvin Gordon. He was already drawing interest from the Vikings, Dolphins, and the Colts, of course, with the Jonathan Taylor drama. Who knows what's going on there, their running back situation. So all three of those teams reached out and were interested in Melvin Gordon. But look, my guy Melvin, he's been in the league a long time. He knows. He wants to get his Super Bowl rings, and he knows the Baltimore Ravens are going for that Super Bowl this season. No disrespect to those other teams, but listen, the Ravens have something special here in Baltimore. I'm going to keep sticking with it until I'm proven wrong. The Ravens are potential to have an incredibly special season, and I'm glad they brought Melvin Gordon back for the same reason as Anthony Brown and Travis Vokalek and all them. All it takes is a couple injuries, God forbid, and then you don't know who you're going to need when you're going to need it. And I do like Melvin Gordon. I said yesterday's video that I think he has a lot of good football left in him. He's still a very good player. So I'm glad that they brought him back because you just don't know when you're going to need him. So good move by the Ravens. I am interested to see who they're going to bring for that 16th and final practice squad spot. Guys, we're only a week and a half away from Ravens football. I cannot wait. If you're excited, make sure you subscribe, help grow this channel, and I just can't wait. If you don't subscribe, you're a Steelers fan. All right, that's what we have to do here. I don't want to do that, but that's what we're gonna have to go with here to get some subscribers rolling in here. All right, on to our next story. Arthur Mullet, speaking of the Steelers, he said he has the Steelers games circled on his calendar. He said, and I quote, "I'm a vet, year number 7. I just wanted a little something, a little security. I think I earned that. Baltimore gave me that, which was surprising that it was a rivalry team. Obviously, they believe in me. That just makes me feel good about the work I put in this offseason." Obviously, he didn't play in the preseason because he's had some nagging injuries in camp, as well as, most of the secondary at this point, is what it feels like. And he's a guy that when he was signed, I came on here and said that I really liked that move. Of course, a nickel corner is a need the Ravens have needed filled since Kyle Hamilton is being moved to more of a deeper safety role. And from the sounds of it, he is absolutely just killing it in that transition back to a safety role. Kyle Hamilton, that is, killing that transition to be that guy. So hopefully the rest of their secondary can get healthy to where he does not need to play as much nickel corner, and we can see him in that deep safety role, hopefully just ball hawking these quarterbacks. I cannot wait. They played 2 rookie quarterbacks in their first 4 weeks. That's going to be a golden opportunity, hopefully, that they can get some picks here. Obviously, Marlon Humphrey is not going to be in, so they're going to need all the help they can get. I like Arthur Mullet, and I think that he could give the Ravens some big-time reps and big-time plays down the stretch here. So we'll have to wait and see. So I'm glad. I love the intensity and the fire that he's bringing in here. Got a little something to prove to the Steelers. I mean, and who likes the Steelers anyways? I mean, get that out of here. Kenny Pickett is going to be having nightmares of the Ravens secondary here, and I think it's in week 8 is their first meeting, if I'm not mistaken. So, anyways, our final story of the day: Tyus Bowser is starting the season on the non-football contact injury list, meaning he will miss the first 4 games of the season. So that's unfortunate. They did retain Malik Ham, which he looked pretty good in the preseason. He was one of the few guys, if I remember correctly, he was one of the few that looked like he was able to generate somewhat of a pass rush on the Ravens defensive line. So at least they have him coming back. Obviously, you want Tyus Bowser out there. He's had some injury issues the last couple of years, so hopefully when he comes back, he's back and ready to roll and get back into that 2021 form. But, when guys come back from injury, sometimes it takes a little bit to really get back physically where you were before, pre-injury. So I don't know how long that's going to take. I think now it makes the Jadeveon Clowney signing look even better, even though Clowney's not really known as a dominant pass rusher. He's a guy that is still a good player and is still going to give them quality plays and quality reps. And that's what you want. David Ojabo, I think I've been saying it adamantly on here. I think he has a very high ceiling, but he's a rookie. Let's call it how it is. He's a rookie. That's how Mike McDonald described him as. So he's going to have to go through those growing pains of the NFL. He showed that he had a big sack at the end of last year, but in the preseason, he doesn't look like he's quite got it yet. I'm not panicking whatsoever. I think he will be just fine, but I think this room is going to have to be led by Odafe Oweh. He needs to have a breakout year. It sounds like he's had a very, very strong offseason, and I think the Ravens are kind of gone all in on him and Ojabo to kind of take over this room. They didn't re-sign Justin Houston, who led the team in sacks last year. They didn't re-sign Jason Pierre-Paul, but they went and got Clowney. And I think they're really believing in these 2 young guys to take over this room and really be a big-time impact. And they're going to have to be, because I just said, Tyus Bowser is going to be out at least the first 4 games. And they're going to need to make their presence felt, especially with Marlon Humphrey being out. This defense was a top 5 defense last year. And if they're going to return to that form, they're going to have to generate some form of pass rush. Hopefully not totally relying on having to bring 5+ rushers at the quarterback to generate any kind of pressure like we saw in the preseason. There was nothing going on, it looked like, in the preseason when they just rushed 4. And I know those weren't their best pass rushers, so not worrying about it, but they're going to have to be able to generate pressure, in my opinion, bringing 4. Of course, you're going to have blitzes mixed in there as well, but I'm really excited to see what Odafe Oweh and David Ojabo are going to be this season as we progress and as everybody gets rolling and into their groove. I can't wait for this defense, and of course the offense. I don't even need to keep talking about it, but I can't help it because I'm so excited for this offense. This team in general has potential to be absolutely special, and I cannot wait. So if you are ready for Ravens football in just over a week away, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, because we are talking Ravens football nonstop over here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it. Go Ravens.